What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. One Piece episode 1137. So in this one, we see, somewhat flashback of like Bonnie crying after seeing all of Kuma's memories because, she went inside that whole Paul like memory thing that Kuma created. And, also with ending with Kuma saying happy 10th birthday. Then we see like her talking to Vegapunk after seeing all those memories. Bonnie hugs him and she like basically blames Saturn for everything. So then we get back to the present where Saturn's like holding her, and it's revealed that the reason she has her Delphi powers is because Saturn experimented on her, basically trying to see if like an infant who basically doesn't have teeth, so basically she can't chew a fruit. If like if like a Delphi fruit could be consumed by a child, by an infant, and that's why she has Delphi fruit powers. And that her mother's Ginny's like illness, how this all that that's also due to his Saturn's experiments. Basically establishes, manga fans know, this basically establishes Saturn as the main villain of this arc. It's like, oh frick. So yeah, basically, Luffy's like tired out from using Gear 5, so and like basically like what happens is like so Saturn's like presence like keeps people from moving, so like no one can move because of Saturn's presence. And then like so Bonnie tries she has like I think it's like a distorted feature attack or it's like a what if feature. Basically it's her as like Nika with like Nika powers and it utterly fails. And so like basically, you know, Vegapunk's like he's like already figured it out that Luffy is Nika. And of course, Saturn knows, and Saturn realizes that Bonnie hasn't made the connection yet between Luffy and Nika, and he tries to like taunt her, saying that the reason her Nika attack's not working is because she's starting to believe Nika's not real. And then basically, Bonnie falls to the ground, and like yeah, then Sentomaru's captured. Basically, like yeah, and Kizuru's like on the ground. So yeah, so then like we see Luffy's like starting to gradually grab food to eat so he can recover. Then then we see like different people's reactions to what's going on. So we see like Kamabaka Island, you know um, Dragon and Ivankov talk about why Kuma left the island. Where would he go? Ivankov says his first instinct because they think he's basically like Kuma's going based on instinct. And so Vankov says that he would just go to Mary Joyce, just wreck the place. Dragon says, but they both agree that Kuma wouldn't necessarily do that by default. So they come to the conclusion that he's going to Egghead because of Bonnie, which he is. So Kuma gets to the island, starts attacking what's in the Navy, and then when Saturn tries to attack Bonnie, we see Kuma uh, block like basically take the attack for Bonnie. And yeah, so that's kind of how like the episode ends. So there's not like an opening, so the opening that we have seen, for a while is used as the ending theme. And crap's going down when there's not even an opening theme used. like you know crap's going down. So yeah, this was I would say this was a like very good episode. Obviously we're getting right into the meat of the Saturn fight. I think there's supposed to be a new opening and ending used very soon. I think there's at least a new ending. I think there's a new opening as well. I could be wrong. So yeah, I've heard I saw something about some punk rock things. Okay. It's like, well, rock music was using older anime, One Piece anime music. It's kind of, very old school when it comes to anime music. Just kind of why it's the best soundtrack. Anyway, so yeah, so I really like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. News Exorcist Chapter 108. So in this one, Gakuro's group's, fighting Suzaku, and then basically, so like, everyone's trying to fight, Suzaku's powerful, so then everyone's trying to figure out what to do, how to attack her, and then they're doing all these attacks, and then so Shitatsu tries to like taunt um Suzaku, saying that issue's not even a factor in the whole romance discussion, and basically like she's trying to say that yeah, that she's like basically trying to say that Kazusa is the top, like Gakuro is Gakuro's top choice. Basically, and she says she's gonna bully Ishu. Yeah, so and then basically Suzuki starts chasing Kazusa, and basically the whole strategy is see whether or not Izora can hit Suzuku, and then one thing that happens, basically, so Shitatsu's trapped in some like jar type thing, and then Yuzora like takes like the hollow weapon, like Shizuku's hollow weapon. So yeah, so basically it's like something they can only swing once because they're power, like everyone's parallel, and so Shitatsu's out of commission, and then yeah, so basically there's an issue. You have everyone in the hotel, and basically it's like we got, and then basically, so they don't know if they should send people to protect the people in the hotel because that would cause issues with their strategy. But if they keep them there, they're unprotected. So everyone's like, so Gaku was like, okay, how do we defeat Suzuku and protect everyone? And then Issue like intercepts an attack from Suzuku. And Issue then kisses Gakuro in order to, I guess, give him some energy. And she's like, he needs a lot of energy. Everyone has to kiss him to give him energy. So and Gaku's like, stop, stop. He's like, all right, no, I'm good. Then like Gakuru tells Fujino, Kazusa, and Aramine to go to like the shelter. Then he says that he and Yuzora will fight Suzaku. Then Kazusa says that if Gakuru wins, Shiroha and um and her will both kiss Gakuru. And she's like, wait, that makes it seem cheap. And so yeah, I'm like, okay, I don't care. Let's just all right, I'm like, okay, let's give it the fight. So then, Gakuro's energy's like it goes up and it's still rising. So Suzuki's and Gakuro then prepare for their next bit of their clash. So it looks like we're gonna see the next bit of the fight. So the fight should be interesting. So yeah, I was fine with this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Elusive Samurai, Chapter 212. So in this one, Tadayoshi doesn't believe that Takaji is possessed by like a deity. He doesn't really believe that. It's like too extreme to believe. But he says if it happens, he will. But he says that he'll summon, get a bunch of allies because he does still have a lot of support, and he'll have more troops than Takaji. And he says if Suzuku is telling the truth, then she'll be able to take advantage of his loss, in Tokiyuki's favor. And so then basically, you know, Tadayoshi, and Tokiyuki, they they part peacefully, then he like Tadayoshi wants everyone to be part of him. He wants the Hojo to be a part. Toki's like, all right. So Tadayoshi joins with Usugi, gets people from Kanto, like gets a whole army in order to basically like attack, fight Takaji's army. And yeah, so like he gets a lot of allies. So yeah, like so Tadayoshi had 500,000, Takaji had 3,000. So Tadayoshi's like just by numbers he was overwhelming them. Then but you know Takaji, basically during the battle there's like there was like some ambush, and then like Takaji's able to get an upset, and he like so Usugi and Momonoi are separated from Tadayoshi, and Tadayoshi's captured, and he's brought to Kamakura where Takaji's at, and basically you know Takaji is basically Tadayoshi's captured, and he's thinking if there's a deity manipulate Takaji, then he knows he will be seen as a threat, and that he'll be dead probably 1 or 2 months. Then we see like a month later, apparently Usugi is playing the lead in a rescue mission of Tadayoshi, and basically Takaji is told that he can't that basically he can't leave Tadayoshi as he is. So Tadayoshi's like basically like, well then. So it's like, yeah, Tadayoshi's about to die. That's probably very soon. So Tadayoshi's about to die. So yeah, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Kagurabachi Chapter 88. So in this one, so Hisaku is still attacking, the Kaminabi headquarters, and basically like every like so Hakuri and all the Kaminami people there are trying to find out the Hishaku, and a bunch of a bunch of people arrive, to help out, and then basically amongst them is Kira Shiraka, whose grandfather was the progenitor of the white purity style, and then and, basically she's like trying. Apparently, she has like a somewhat healthy relationship with her grandfather. So her grandfather was like a big time, like I guess member of Kaminabi who let Haruha and Samura babysit Kira. And then basically, apparently, Shiraka Sensei is like missing. Basically, Kira Uruha said yeah he's missing. He's probably in the mountain somewhere. And Kira's like, oh yeah, we text. And Uruha's like, wait, what? He's never this nice. Hawker's like, you're a nice grandchild. And then Kira's like, well yeah, till I kill a guy. Basically, so Shiraka Sensei like doesn't think he thinks swords are only for men. Basically, he says that they're too heavy for for a female's arms, and he says that Kira would be dead in no time. And Kira's like basically says she wants him alive so that she can hack him up later, basically. So everyone then starts fighting the Heishaku. So basically, we see a bunch of like Kaminami start fighting them, like there are a bunch of sorcery going on. So yeah, then so yeah, then we see a bunch of the fight going on. So yeah, looks like we're about to see like a bunch of these new characters like show off their techniques. So that should be interesting. So you see how that goes. So yeah, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi Chapter 54. So in this one, Akari heals Kiyoshi. She obviously can't fight off Asuna Roth by herself. She can't do that. And then when she says that she's Kiyoshi's partner, Asuna Roth is like getting jealous. He's like, wait, what? He's like, you freaking cheater. Like basically, he has a very twisted view. Akari's like, what the heck's going on? The deal between y'all? Kiyoshi's like, I honestly don't know. So yeah, so basically Surat then basically has Akari like hover and basically he wants to try and kill her. So he try he tries to, basically blow her up, but Kiyoshi blocks takes the blast. Then he thanks you know he thanks Akari for healing him and says that he'll take care of the rest. And then, basically it looks like the final phase of the fight's about to start soon. Like next chapter. So yeah, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Ichi the Witch, chapter 44. So in this one, Togis is teaching Ichi, just some basics about, the history of magic so that, with a lot of the higher ups showing up, she doesn't want Ichi to basically embarrass himself in front of everyone, which will probably also embarrass the people who have been around him. And amongst the higher ups showing up is Kumugi's sister Spica, who's a captain. So like it's a very high rank, even without being like it's a very high rank. And Kumugi's like nervous about that. So basically, Togis tells Ichi that if he like shows like as he says a dearth of common sense or neglects his studies, but he says he'll wind up like Descaris, who's like frozen. Yeah, Descaris' reaction to be frozen. It's freaking funny. So we see Ichi get some of the money. It's called Maji. It's a common currency basically. So basically that's from Ichi's pay, which he should have had, but Descaris had been keeping track of it, and parent basically had been using some of the pay for herself. And Toys is like that that basically that Descaris will be punished. And she Descaris like shivering from being frozen. And then basically apparently her excuse is that yeah the account setup paperwork it was a pain. And he's like, yeah, it's not like he wants money. And Toki's just looking at her like she's trash. And is like she's like, well, you probably thought if I don't bring it up, people will forget about it, then I can use the money. And she's like, when you get that's why when you get a mind reader magic, then Toki's like, all right, Itchy, it's your money, you use it. Do you understand how? He basically like she's like tells him to go spend money. I guess learn how to use money because Itchy's used to trade and barter. like with, food and stuff, kind of how a lot of people used to do it way back in the day. You know, so yeah. Then, so Ichi and Kumugi go to basically Donnelly, which is on with like Main Street. So like basically it looks like a giant mall. So Ichi sees stuff he wants to try to buy, but none of them is within his price range. And then he even tries to trade jerky and leather because he's used to trade and barter. And but he says he's used money just a different type of currency. Yes. And then Kumi's like, hey, let's try bartering's fine, but let's try something with the only money. Then as they try to find see stuff to buy, there's a bunch of Descars merch. And then try to figure out then Ichi's like, I don't know what to do. So then he asks Kamugi what she would do with the money, and then Kamugi's like, well, uh basically her suggestion is to buy like a gift for someone that Ichi cares about, and then they blah blah say whatever he needs to say. Then like Descars like sneaks out. Then Ichi comes across Descars, and then basically pulls out some candy, and then basically Ichi says basically says it's a buying gift for as it was community invest, buy a gift someone he cares about, telling someone he say basically, and basically he's been thinking about that ever since Gokuraku's family. So because I guess Ichi, he doesn't have a lot of friends with family, so he like says he thanks Discaris for making him part of her family, and we see like Discaris start to cry as Togis is like comes in and starts lecturing the Discaris. She's like what happened? You know, and then so yeah, then Kamugi talks to herself about the events, and she's like, she's never been able to buy anything for someone she cared about. Then we see then see the next day, the day of the debut happens, and then Spica arrives. She's the her full title is the Mantinal Witches Association Inspections Department Section 1 Chief, Spica Harvest. And then she asks where Kamugi is, and she looks very smug in the picture. Like she's like, oh ho ho ho, like one of those like snobby nobles. Is what it looks like. Now who knows if that's what she actually is? Who knows? My guess is there's some family drama there. That's gonna be my bet. Like so, yeah. I like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Nice Prison, Chapter 14. So in this one, they're like basically Mitsuboshi and and Dark Maul prisoner are fighting Nazuna, who's the super female prisoner or whatever full term is, and then basically so she has these zombie guards that attack, and then and basically the issue then all the zombie guards are very much into Nazuna. I can you know and then basically mysteries are like her power. I guess the logic is mysterious women are supposed to be attractive or something. Yeah. And so then basically I guess Dark Maul prisoner and Mitsubishi are forced to take part in a drinking party. And then then basically it's like a whole talk like conversation, like even they were ordering, getting drunk. So yeah. Then Mitsubishi like kicks over the table, and starts attacking. Yeah, so they're like, oh yeah, why are we not serious? They're zombies, should be fine. Then Nazuna summons real guards, who are also really into Nazuna. And then basically, see, yeah, so, you know, and basically, so he sobers up after he's sad that he's not happy that he hit the real life guards, even though they were helping Nazuna. Basically, it turns out Nazuna had fallen for Super Death Row prisoner, and then basically like yeah, so then Nazuna kisses a guard on the cheek, and he like just basically immediately buffs up. He's like, love makes him stronger or whatever. And then yeah, so then while Mitsuboshi's like trapped, and, basically the guard like kicks a gravestone at Mitsuboshi, but the gravestone's stopped by a Kasan who's back in his human form. And that's supposed to lead to, I guess, chapter where Kasan's gonna, I guess, start fighting not Nazuna. So yeah, I like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Oh, there was a flame, chapter 12. So in this one, the duel between Oda and Saruld is over, and Saruld like acknowledges him as like a warrior, so he's like very like honor bound. He tells Oda to finish him off, and then then this one like Ice Kingdom lady comes in. Turns out it's another spirit home, Calerio. So now we have two of the six horns at the location. Basically, like Calerio's there to kill the Iron Spirit because do that before any of the other spirits decide to awaken. And then basically that the job as the six horns' job is to prevent that from happening. And she's not happy about Sorol like telling his men to stand down so we can have a duel. And then Oder's like, hey, what the heck are you doing? That's your ally. And then this monster named Mako who's working for Calerio attacks Oder and Edu Perko. So Edu Perko's like fighting Mako and like but she's captured and Oder's like knocked out. And then Mako senses the flame spirit inside of Oder. And then Calerio it prepares to like kill Oder, but the dwarves like won't let her do it. And then you know then 610 arrives, and basically Calerio's like, oh crap. And so basically Eoperco's being used by Mako as a shield, and 610 just immediately just quickly like saves like Eoperco and just beat and punches Calerio. And he's like, what are you doing to my pupil? So he's like about to beat the living crap out of her. So it looks like we're about to see 610 do like show off his power. So we should see something really cool. So yeah, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Harukaze Mound, Chapter 7. So in this one, we're in the seventh inning, and basically, so there's this one player named for the team named Satomi Kikunaga who hasn't swung his first two at bats. Basically, he has this one. He waits for the perfect pitch, even if it's an obvious like swinging pitch. Like if it's right down the middle, where you would think you would swing. He does it because he doesn't like the pitch. Basically, as he describes it, he looks for the types he likes and doesn't let her get away. That's how he describes the type of pitches he searches for. So he like his batting average is probably pretty bad. He's probably one of those like power hitters that has a really bad batting average. That like probably in a lot of leagues would be like a pinch hitter. And basically like there's like this whole argument like about it. So yeah, so then then during the game, and basically he actually comes up to at bat, and then the pitcher for Sessions like he wants to put them down because they haven't been because they've been the coaching. He said they've been the coaching, but he's like we should not be doing this. We need to do it right, finish it. And the guy's like, I'm gonna pitch like it's an official game, and then Kikunaga hits the like basically the guy's best pitch, and hits a 3-1 homer. Like he just crushes it. Yeah, and basically it describes him as like Kikunaga is an unpredictable clutch hitter, but he's like a wild card. And then basically he like so so like the guy he was arguing with congratulates him. So like says good hit, and that's nice. So I guess he begrudgingly accepts the guy's logic, if he doesn't really like it. Yes. Yeah, so I really like this chapter. Should be interesting next few next few chapters, see how this game goes. So yeah, I really like this chapter, looking forward to the next one. Ekiden Bros, Chapter 5. So in this one, so Nobunaga, who's like in like 10th place, whatever, he starts gaining steam, and he like, when it's like in the clutch, which that's where he can do really well, and he passes everyone and wins the race. Basically very close between him and Uchimi Hanashiro, who's like a prodigy from Okinawa. So, after then when the race ends, the two guys running the practice, one the guy with the glasses is wondering like why the coach picked him. Basically, like the guy was like who I guess he was like the team captain, where is like the coach sense potential, and then basically once the race is done, everyone congratulates Nobunaga for winning the race, and then basically the captain tells everyone that Nobunaga is the son of Coach Kazuma from Seitoku. Yeah. So and like everyone's like, wait, what? And apparently Seitoku's coach was a mentor to like to like the Odeni's coach. Like so, like basically Odeni's coach was, I guess, taught by Satoku's coach. So I guess that's how you know Nobunaga knows the guy. So basically, someone was like, "Wait, is it nepotism?" And then it was like, the guy's like, "No, no, 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 no." He's like, basically, the team doesn't pull that crap. You earn your spot. And basically, they said Nobunaga earned it, and then and basically, so yeah, everyone's like, yeah, you're welcome to the team. So yeah, I like this chapter. I thought it was fine. Looking forward to the next one. Ping-Pong Peril Chapter 4. So in this one, so Tyra like returns to like his like house or apartment, whatever. Where he sees Mitsuki and Momo eating dinner without him. So everyone eats, and basically Tyra tells Mitsuki he wants to keep the Ping-Pong Peril secret from Momo. And basically, he has a Tyra has a part-time job in order to like as act as a cover. But and Mitsuki like work is like a CEO. So he's like, yeah, Tyra just does good, like does some jobs for him. Does very well. And then basically Momo basically like she suggests she like knows that like Tyra's involved with something probably dangerous. She doesn't know what it is. But Mitsuki she thinks Mitsuki's like a good person. And apparently Momo wants to like I guess go to cooking school. So Tara wants to get somebody to help out with that, along with paying off the debt. So yeah. Then Mitsuki takes later takes Tyra and Momo to a hot springs. So and I get you have a men's side, women's side. So Momo and Mitsuki go to the women's side. Mitsuki is basically notices how big Momo's boobs are, and like I guess is jealous of that. And Tyra's like by himself in there. So he gets in the bath, whatever. Well, I guess it's not a hot springs; it's like a public bath. That is just a weird. I know it's an anime manga trope. I guess it's the Japan. I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea why people do that. I just find it weird taking a bath with other bunch of other people around. That is just weird. But some people like it. Okay, they could do what they want. I still find it weird. But then the attendant, so like who's a female, arrives in Tyra's side and grabs like a pot or whatever to use as a paddle. And basically, this was where Tyra's next match is. So Tyra is butt naked, basically wearing only a towel. And so the room is like closed off, so it's only just those two. So Tyra's naked. So the top of the washing station is going to be the table. And basically, like so the girl, so they say the girl starts, and basically Tyra doesn't want to use a bath bucket as like the ping pong table. And then Tyra's like, crap, Momo's on the other side. He doesn't want to want like get Momo to figure out. Then he covers up the noise by saying there's well like a bamboo fountain for scaring deer. Also, I didn't know those were for scaring deer. Yeah. And Mo's like, wait, in a public bath? Mitsuki's like sticking her tongue out, I guess, in Tyra's direction. So yeah, so it's like we'll see like this game, see how awkward it gets for Tyra, with him only wearing the towel. So yeah, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Apocalypse Brainer Mynoghra, episode 4. So in this one, Lonius, Verdal are traveling to Mynoghra. Basically they learn that rumors of a witch in Mynoghra, and that this character named Selena is going to confront her, along with any of the Dark Elves that are there. So then Tagato uses a pile of fruit to turn into a mantis creature, and basically Tagato and Otto decide to create a hero using a being, I guess, from Mynoghra named Isla. So, the knights that are on the way there fight this hill giant. Then Tagato senses the knights and sends Otto to deal with them. Basically, Otto disguises herself as a dark elf, and, she doesn't let him in. The knights. So, one knight who's like in charge, basically, first he's okay with, like he's okay with, just letting the guy, like, letting them go. He's like, yeah, no. So, yeah, so basically, he like basically so Verdal is basically kind of fine with letting the person go, like letting them go is like not getting involved. But Leonis is like no, we have to do it. We are sent here by God, and he's like, I relieve you of. He tells Verdal he relieves him of command, and then and basically like so Leonis takes command, orders the knights to attack Otto, but all the knights are slaughtered. So Verdal and Leonis are the only ones left. And they realize Otto is the witch. And so they're like, oh, frick. So yeah, I really like this episode. Interesting what this like Isla character is. But yeah, so you do Otto just wrecking them. All those knights was awesome. So yeah, I really like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. Gachiakuta episode 3. So in this one, Rudo joins the Cleaners, which is a group Engine's a part of. And basically we see some of the Cleaners, some stuff established, so then Rudo's given some money by Engine. Then this cat takes the money, so Rudo chases the cat. He uses the stick in order to stop the cat. But the stick's owned by another cleaner named Zanka Nichiku, who gets really pissed off that Rudo took his stick because it is his lovely assist staff, so it's his his weapon that basically that's his whole object that he uses to power up. And basically and then Ryu apologizes. He's like, yeah, I didn't mean to do it. Didn't know it was your treasure. Zonka's like, oh yeah, you're fine. Okay. But then Rito tries to smile in order to help Furfies, but he's not good at smiling. So Zonka's like, what the heck are you doing? What? And then basically that leads to them getting into a fight. And Rito's grabs a bunch of stuff to use as weapons. And oh man. Oh, that's fun. Oh yeah, one of Force. There's this doctor named Alice who treats Rudo, voiced by the same voice actor as Frieza from Dragon Ball, Mayuri from Bleach, and Caesar Clown in One Piece. So that guy, basically the Joker type voice actor. So yeah, so one of the weapons that Rudo uses is a plunger that has poop on it. So he doesn't know it, and then he flings poop. Basically, Zanko's running away, and because he sees there's poop on the thing, and he's just running from Rudo. And Rudo doesn't even know that that he's flinging poop at the guy because he doesn't know what a plunger is. And so basically, after the fight, Engine comes across the two, and he reveals that Zanka is supposed to be Rudo's trainer. So they're all in. they both of them go in the engine's trunk and they tell him everything. Engine just laughing the whole time. That like Zanka's like the closest like a spoiler rich kid here, and you float poop at him, and Zanka's mad about poop, and Rito's like, I was fighting with poop the whole time. And so confidently. Like that is one of the best quotes I've seen in a long time. That is a very good quote. Oh man, it's so funny. Then there's this, I guess, chick named Rio who's also in the truck, like just laying in the back, starts messing with Rito's hair. Rito's like, "Oh, why is a chick messing with my hair?" But dude, I thought it was so funny. So yeah, I've read a good bit of the manga, so I can tell you these characters are gonna be really cool. Like Zanka is freaking awesome. Like his backstory is freaking incredible. Like his backstory in the manga is awesome. Now we probably won't get that. I don't know if we'll get to his backstory this season. That either be this season or a potential season two. Because I mean, like I don't even know if they could get that within two cores. But Zanka is gonna be awesome. Rio is gonna be awesome. Like there's a lot of cool characters on the ground level. So yeah, I really like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. Uglymug Epicfighter Episode 4. So in this one, it continues on from the last one. So Reese like talks with Shigeru. Basically, she reveals that she can see everyone's special notes. So that basically in her special, she wanted to understand people better. And so that gave her the ability to see everyone's special notes. So she basically sees all of Shigeru's special notes. I don't know how much if what she saw, how she reacted to it. So reveals that she's Seiji's sister. That she and Reika were involved with the program, like that caused the AI, whatever AI program was going on, caused that company to go down. And that she's the reason behind Reika's injury, why she's paralyzed. So yeah, and she deduces that Shigeru is the same Shigeru that Seiji was talking about. Which, and then so Shigeru and Reese agree to like they want to help Seiji and Reika like succeed in this world. So yeah, then we see you know then we see like so there's one like chick with like one arm who like collapses near their camp, and this character named Kiyoshiro. It basically we see some of her flashbacks. So some her boyfriend dumped her in the real world for a prettier girl, and then all these other pretty women start mocking her, saying, "Well, yeah, man, like pretty women." So she, I guess, hates all pretty women. So her special, she wants to like, she can't forgive pretty women and wants to, I guess, kill them all. Ironically, like so, yeah. So I don't know if that means she killed a bunch of pretty women in the real world. I don't know if that means she did that. So Seika, who's basically very pure, innocent, very gullible, trying to help heal Kiyoshiro. Now Reese had seen the special note, so she is concerned about Seika's safety, and she tells Shigeru about it. So Reese like keeps an eye on things from above. Seiji's trying to help Kiyoshiro, and then when Kiyoshiro wants to try to go to like this watering hole, Seiji thinks he like needs help to get water. And then Kiyoshiro's like, "No, it's for taking a bath." And he's like, "Where you live?" And she's like, "Oh crap!" And Reika's like, "Seiji, are you lewd?" And then Seiji just like stops, like his heart just stops at that. And Shigeru, like concerned about Reika's safety, is like helping now. And the Kyoshiro's like, "Hey, you stay away." And Seika's like, "Hey, Shigeru, are you lewd too?" And Shigeru's like, he just stops. So he and Seiji just had the same reaction. Then Seika like takes Kiyoshiro to the wiring hole. Now Reese follows from behind. Like she like keeps an eye on things, like spies on them. And Suguru puts Seiji to sleep. So while he goes, so so basically Suguru has like super speed, so you have like this after image where he just continuously goes back and forth while he's like getting food and spy on things. So then Kyoshiro tells Seiko what her special note is about. She has to kill all pretty girls. So she pulls her sword on Seiko. And so Ree's like starts shooting arrows at Kyoshiro. Suguru gets there. Then we see like Seika like go into like this angel form, and that's supposed to lead into the next episode, whatever the angel form is. So yeah, I really like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. Hotel Inhumans episode 4. So in this one, there's an assassin named Nina who's been hired to target um, Ruchan, the leader of this pop idol group named Brainstorming. And she starts listening to the music, which starts giving her emotions, even though her like training she went through, like whatever organization she was with, is meant to remove emotions. So she's staying at the hotel in Humans while she's preparing for the assassination. And what? And she and Sarah meet, come across each other in this bar near Hotel and Humans. And it's part of Sarah's routine to go to that bar like on Fridays, where. And so Nina asks Sarah to help her protect Ruchan. So then the Sarah arranges for the concert to be moved to the hotel, and so there's a replacement assassin sent to like kill Ruchan. Sarah blocks the bullet, and Nina ambushes the replacement. And it's revealed that the client is the CEO who owns Brainstorming, who found the debt and basically wanted to kill Ruchan as a way to like drive sales of what would be her last song. And Nina reveals she killed the client and lets the Miku, who's the name of the replacement, go. Ikuro, you know, meets Sarah at the bar, and it's kind of amused to learn that Sarah has started appreciating Brainstorm's music. But Ikuro is also not sad about the fact that Nina knows she will be killed inevitably. And which Nina is, so she's paying the cat in the back alley, and she's shot in the head and killed. So yeah, I really like this episode. The Assassins of the Week thing are pretty interesting. I mean, we had 2 week one with a Kase, but yeah, I really like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. Dekin no Mogura, the Earthbound Mole, episode 4. So in this one, Magi's workplace, obviously there's spirits in it. So Toshiro then, basically like goes there to deal with it. And apparently exorcism's not really required. And like, there's like a joke how like I guess how Toshiro like is an exorcist professor, does right, and it's like his tax returns are like a pain, and basically the government doesn't care about that as long as they get their taxes. Like that's the joke they make. And then yeah, and then basically there's a bunch of issue with the spirits, and then yeah, Shio like I guess is a lot has like high power level, or like she's like I guess has some strength, but she's like very ditzy. So yeah, I thought yeah, that bit was funny. I guess with how like she's like she can't see spirits, but she like is able to like do like feats of strength. Where I guess she like befriends a Kiyoshiro as well of all this, and then Yeah, so then there's this red panda named Maggie that died, and that made Yay like pretty sad. I guess she likes red pandas, and then we see the ghost of the red panda, like where all the spirits are, and and then basically so the red panda like I guess gets on top of Moggy's head, and I guess they act pretty similar. So Ye's like I guess her opinion of Moggy like wit up. I guess it's like implies she might have feelings for him. And so we see like at the school next day, Kyoshiro and Shio, who had basically become friends in a sense. There's just some one character who like is where y'all two dating, and Kyoshiro's like, dude, quit getting those dirty thoughts out of your head. Aren't you like a 30 or something? And we see someone who I guess looks a little similar to Magi, you know, except with hair color of Yay. So yeah, I really like this episode. Interesting what this new character is. So yeah, I really like this episode. Looking forward to the next one.
Well, that's it. Did, did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.